Yes? Okay. We are at the Village Council regular meeting, June 26, 2025. It is 7:44 p.m. We will start with roll call. And, told you I had mess. I think I know all your guys' names, so let's just do it this way. Councilperson Passion.
Here.
Councilperson Koss.
Here.
Councilperson Martin.
Here.
Councilperson Grant.
Here.
Councilperson Pinter.
Here.
And Council President Cameron.
Yeah.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Next, we will move to meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the June 12th, 2025 committee as a whole minutes?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Do we have a motion to approve the June 12th, 2025 council meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? All right, next we will move to our village committee reports, and we will start with streets. Councilperson Koss.
We just talked about this, oh gosh, I don't know if I can just say all the things. We're still working on MLR. We are discussing whether we want to go forward with adding sidewalks or waiting for Linkus to give us a grant. I think we've all decided, or in general, I think we feel that we want to proceed as fast as possible with connecting the neighborhood, and it should still be included as part of the MLR project, so we can have sidewalks faster for children to attend school. What else are we working on? CCTV, we're talking about combining a project to save some money. It won't be detrimental to the village, so we're talking about that. Oh gosh, I need a cheat sheet. What else am I thinking of? I said it so well the first time around, I can't repeat it. What else? Oh, and then we're still working on Northland Plaza Drive, resurfacing that because that kind of is a mess. That is Minerva Park property. It is not the actual plaza. That is the part that we service. And then another question that came up that we're researching is, can we rename that so it's not as confusing? Something to consider, but very much just a thought. But we are working on redoing that so it's nice and so we don't mess up our cars. That is Minerva Park property. Again, just so in case anybody is curious. What else? That's all I got. Is there something else?
Just for clarification, you're
Yes,
talking
sir.
Ponderosa to Farview.
Yes, yeah, that is Minerva Park,
Yes.
correct.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. So for everybody curious about that, that is what belongs to us. We are responsible for it. It is not in great shape. Barb was reaching out to those businesses so they are aware and they're not blindsided by the construction project, so that way we don't negatively affect those businesses while trying to improve the area.
Did we reach out also to the apartments?
Yes, sir. That is something as well, so everybody is aware. That's all I got so far. I think there's something else I'm missing, but.
And also to the businesses on that strip of road, is the plan to reach out to them to let them know?
All affected businesses should be told.
Yes.
I think that's all I got. Yeah?
Yep.
What else
That's
am
all I
missing?
have.
Okay.
All right. Next, we will move to Councilperson Martin for services.
Services, we have chosen Groundmaster Landscaping for the next 3 years at $35,000 a year and a 5% increase. Also, this Friday we have Kudo Kebabs coming from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And next weekend, July 5th on Saturday, we're working on getting LB's Chicken and Fish to come. Unfortunately, he just got back to me and said that due to staffing issues, he doesn't know if he can commit, but stay tuned, we'll let you know as soon as I find out.
5% is annual, 5%?
Yes, sorry, yes, correct.
And it's 35,000
A year,
per year.
per year.
For the first year.
Yeah.
And then
Yes,
5%.
the 5%, correct.
What was the previous years?
I don't have that paperwork in front of me, unfortunately.
Thank you.
I want to say it was 35 last year. 34 or
Close to
35.
that, yeah. No.
Yeah,
Very close.
I don't want to say a wrong number.
All right. And then, anybody have any questions? All right. Recreation Parks Council President Cameron.
Yeah, so thank you for allowing me to miss the first meeting. I just flew back in. So All right, so really not a whole lot, just kind of an awareness thing.
We talked about, yes.
Just some things that have been brought to my attention since the pool's been open, obviously, you know that I'm involved with it, and they tend to bend in my ear while I'm down there, so. A few more larger, the adult, I don't want to say adult size, the handicap chairs that we bought, the taller chairs, especially with the Northland, we have a lot of Northland community members that have joined, or former Northland pool members, and they're a little on the older side.
Do you have a recommendation on how many you think?
We have 5.
Is that all we have?
Mhm.
Oh, way off.
I would probably go to 20 total, so maybe another 15. The cool thing is, the past couple weekends that I've been at the pool, we have used almost every single lounge chair that's out there. So if you consider what we bought new over the last several years, that's close to 200 lounge chairs. And then we still have some of the old lounge chairs that are out there as well. So it's been busy at the pool on the weekends. I've heard during the week there's been days that it's been really busy, so that's good. It's definitely a mix of young and old, so I think that's good. It will be nice to see where we land at the end of the pool season. But I think we still have memberships rolling in as we speak, so I think it's going to lead to some more discussions down the road, like do we need to cap pool memberships at some point? You know, we really haven't had to have that discussion because, you know, we just haven't been there. But I think that when you have memberships, you want your members to have first access to the pool as opposed to the walk-up. So just something to think about as we move along. I know one Saturday I started counting cars in the parking lot. I got up to 60. And just as an FYI, the initial plans that MKSK did for us for the pool roughed that, if you ever looked at them, that roughed it out at about 81 parking spots. So just something to think about, you know, as we continue to have discussions around that. So that the chairs were one thing. The second thing was a little disappointment in the selection of snacks this year. I think pizza rolls was definitely one that I heard about specifically. And these are adults coming to me, not kids, so they have a little more disposable income. And so I'd
Do
like
you
to.
know where you can get that? Because they discontinued what we had last year.
They did.
Yes, no, that's why we don't have them.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we got them, so.
The only thing that they have now is,
They call them Bosco sticks.
that was it. That's our only option.
I don't know what that is, so.
It's like a cheese stick.
It's like a stuffed breadstick.
Okay, well, it might be an option, you know, if we can get some, it not be expensive.
Yeah, I don't know what they are. We can look into it and talk to Christine and see
Yeah.
what we can do. Because I'm in agreement. I mean, the one thing is, it's nice to have, and I know it's weird to say it this way because I said it earlier and I think everybody thought I was crazy, but an actual food item.
Yes.
And when I say that, what does that mean? Not chocolate, not junk.
Right.
I mean, just something to like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say fill you up, but something to hold you over for an hour.
Yeah, if you're gonna have a little snack, you know,
Yeah.
because a lot of people come
Snickers,
around
ice cream.
times. You either eat before you come, or you bring food with you, or you get stuff there, so
Right.
those are kind of your options. But I think ice cream wise was the other specific item. I heard nothing about chocolate or card candy or chips or anything like that. I think some people are disappointed we don't have the
Ice cream.
variety of ice cream that we have.
We'll look at that tomorrow.
Other than that, I think we've had some, like I said, good attendance and lots of good feedback. You live right there, so you
Yeah, well,
probably.
John, the same day that he keep counting the cars, John said they made $2,000.
Yes, we've had some 1,200 days, $1,500 days, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think that's about it for me. Did you add anything or have anything else?
Those were the main two things. We were talking about getting little tags to put on the handicap chairs.
I think we brought
So,
that.
I think,
We
Did
did
we?
have,
Okay.
yeah, we had a little, it looked like a luggage tag.
See, that's what we were talking
Yes.
I saw
Symbol on
60
it.
stickers for $5.
So I don't know what we paid.
yeah, we'll see what we can find and see if we can mark those. I don't know why, I honestly thought there was like 12 of those. Okay, that makes sense. That makes way more sense. So yeah, Now, the other question that I had for you was, how long did those take to come in last time?
They do take some time.
Okay.
We won't have them for this.
That's what I wanted to make sure.
We're
Okay.
ordering now. Typically, we've been able to lock in this year's prices if we commit to them before the end of the year, and then we have issued the check after the first of the year.
Can you get a price for us and then see if we can,
Yeah.
see if we're allowed to buy any?
Yeah, I'll do that. Okay.
All right, anything else? All right. We will move to citizen comments, and we have one citizen that would like to speak, and Craig Buckingham.
Thank you. I'd just like to take a few minutes to discuss.
State your name and your address, please.
Yep.
Craig Buckingham, 3202 Minerva Lake Road.
Thank you.
I'd like to take a few minutes to discuss the Minerva Lake Road project. First, I would like to extend my appreciation for those who have listened to our comments in the meeting and kind of followed up on those. It's also good to finally see some attention to this road, as we've seen excessive deterioration in the road from excessive traffic, from the development of the golf course section, and in addition to additional runoff coming off of Farview Road due to that development. My understanding is the plan is to move forward with this with a 5-foot sidewalk, even though when the golf course section of the development was done, it's a 4-foot. I'm not quite sure why we would have that difference, and the difference in consistency doesn't make sense to me. Also, why do we put in a sidewalk here if it does not go anywhere? From what I understand, where's the planning to make sure that we don't have a bunch of pieces here and there? Because my understanding is when we go from Farview up to Ponderosa, that you will not be putting in the sidewalk. Personally, if we're not doing that, I believe we would be better off to add another foot on each side of the road instead of having a sidewalk that just goes nowhere. As for the sidewalks, again, if you have been down there, we are on a hill, both east-west direction and the grading of our yards north to south. Does anyone today know what the impact will be to our front yards? As there are several elevation charges in a very short range that you would have to adjust for. Will retaining walls be required? My neighbors have trees that add value to their properties. Will they be compensated? And more important, will they be replaced? Is that in the plan? Information I know hasn't been shared with me or as far as I know, my neighbors. Lastly, at the meeting that was held, I was mocked for showing skepticism when stated that the residents would have an option to review this project when the details were worked out. Well, what do you know? We are here with a proposal to pass it again as an emergency. Actions that take away rights from residents. Actions such as this continue to provide, actions such as this in not providing a forum to discuss these major projects, or something as simple as an ice cream truck. Again, this is why the residents are so disenfranchised with this village. Thank you.
Thank you. We usually don't interact with them. Okay,
Legislation?
go for it.
All right. So, looks like the first thing is the ordinance 2025-09, which would take, I don't know, listen, I'm not a lawyer, I just pretend to be on the legislation committee. We had put something on the table, I think.
I would put this on the table.
Yes.
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 So what's the process for
We just need
something?
a motion to remove this from the table, if somebody
Yeah.
wants to make that a second and a vote on it, and then it would be active, you could.
All right. So do we have a motion on the table to remove this from the table?
Which ordinance are we?
2025-09. the ordinance for the salary of council members to the Village of Minerva Park.
So moved.
Second.
What?
Can I just say so moved, or do I?
Yeah, he asked for a motion, he said it's, yeah, all good.
All right, so we have it off of the table, and now we can move forward towards the third reading of this?
Yeah, you just gotta vote on the motion to remove from the table.
Okay, perfect. So let's get a roll call for
Okay.
motion to remove from the table on ordinance 2025-09.
And do we have a second?
She seconded it,
Yes.
yes. Kathy seconded it, just said saying she. Okay, Councilperson Cost. Council President Cameron. Councilperson Grant.
What's that? Because so we can talk about it. Oh. Because otherwise we can. Aye, yes.
You're good.
Sorry.
No, Councilperson Pinter.
Aye.
Councilperson Passion.
Aye.
And Councilperson Martin.
Aye.
Okay.
It is now off the table, so now we
Yes.
can,
We can talk about it.
What,
I'm trying. Go ahead. What's your question?
Are we talking about it now?
I'm trying to
Make a
find it.
motion to amend it.
are we amending it?
It was amended from its original form.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so it has changed since the last time we read it, is the next part to this.
Yes. Hold on, I'm looking.
I don't know that you knew that.
I mean, I did know that we had changed it and Jeff did, but. All right, so we need a motion to amend by substitution ordinance 2025-09, which is, what that motion means is that what is here before us is, it is the same topic as what has been discussed. The substance is different.
And it's not in the packet, is it?
Yeah, we have nothing before us.
It's
I don't know why we're
It's
talking.
not-
Wait, it's not in there?
No.
It was emailed to us.
I saw some.
Okay.
It's the council salary.
Oh, okay. So this didn't make it online? Because I'm looking at what's online. And there it is. Okay. Okay. It was not, yeah, okay. So, oh my God.
Tragedy ever.
Okay. It is,
Hold on one second.
okay.
We are technically not following the agenda right now. Because we are technically on,
We are. It's motion to approve ordinance 2025-09. We removed it off of, we sort of are.
so that is item number 8.
No. Item number 6.
Gotcha.
We're on number 6.
So I have it on.
We got another email on top of that.
We got one today.
There's an updated packet online. You might want to.
Okay.
Let's go to the packet online. I'm gonna go to the packet online.
Yes.
Hey, in the
now I
future,
know.
can we just get a link instead of?
If you guys don't mind, in old business, new business, we're gonna have a little discussion about that because her life is absolutely insane by adjusting this 15 times before a meeting. So if we could actually just not talk about that yet, and we're gonna talk about an old business, new business, we're gonna put together a policy, and what's sent out is done, and if you guys wanna amend it, we'll talk about it in a few.
All right, so the amounts, I'm trying to think of, I don't know the proper way to word what was amended, because I know that it was originally one thing.
I am comfortable that, I think the numbers changed.
Yes.
But it was apparent to all, and has been for 2 months, that we're discussing a council salary raise.
Correct.
So just to give you what was running through my head just now, I was thinking, do we need to technically waive readings on this amended version to pass it today? Because it has changed from what had previously been on the table. But the substance is similar enough. It is a council salary adjustment. We don't need to do that. So, sorry for giving you all my internal monologue.
No, you're fine.
So this is now off the table. Today is the third reading. What I would just say is we need a motion to amend by substitution
Okay.
to get the numbers that are now before you
Yes.
formally into the record. So this new one that is going to be voted on has different numbers in the sections than it did.
I think the numbers are the same. What we changed was the CPI-U to not to exceed more than 3%.
Okay.
That's kind of what changed, because I do believe the number might be the same.
I think you're right.
Section 1 is the same, section 2 is the addition.
That's right. We amended how it eventually raised.
Correct.
So that is fine. Let's just do a motion to amend by substitution, ordinance 2025-09, to reflect an updated section 2. And then we'll vote on that, and then what is sitting before you will be voted on and discussed.
So can we entertain a motion to amend by substitution as the changes that are present on the? Any-
In 2025-09?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Section
And
two.
that's the motion.
Section
I'll
2,
second.
which, amends it to have CPI-U as a modifier to not exceed 3% per year.
And was that seconded?
Yeah,
Thank you.
All right. Any more discussion? Council President Cameron.
Aye.
Councilperson Grant.
Aye.
Councilperson Pinter.
Aye.
Councilperson Passion.
aye.
Councilperson Martin. Councilperson Cost.
Aye.
Now we move to the third reading.
Correct.
All right, so ordinance 2025-09, an ordinance to increase the salary of the council members of Village of Minerva Park. That's the reading. Do we move for passage at this point?
Yeah, somebody moves to approve, you get a second, and then you can discuss it.
Okay. Motion to approve?
Seconded.
Any discussion?
Any discussion? Okay.
Councilperson Grant.
Nay.
What?
Councilperson Pinter.
Aye.
Councilperson Passion.
Aye.
Councilperson Martin.
Aye.
Councilperson Cost.
Aye.
And Council President Cameron.
Aye.
All right, next is 2025-12, which is an ordinance to transfer appropriations and make supplemental appropriations for the current expenses of the Village of Minerva Park for the year 2025. This appears to contain some things regarding street construction, street cleaning, ice removal, street maintenance repair. Do we know specifically what this is? And the, it looks like Exhibit A for the road construction as well. I think we talked about that earlier, Tony, because you're on finance, and a lot of it appears to be for the Minerva Lake Road project, but there was also a $15,000 outlay for the server that we need to get, and this is, it appears to be requested to be read, what is it, as an emergency. Or what's the right way to put this? I'm
There
sorry.
were waive readings.
Yes, it looks like the intent to waive readings, and does it say pass as an emergency? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just waive reading.
I feel like a newborn baby giraffe.
It's like you've never been to a meeting.
I know, but it's different, it's like watching somebody run. They're like, now you do it, and you're like, ah.
I cannot agree more.
All right, so we need to waive readings, yes? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to waive readings.
Second.
All right. Any discussion?
All right. Councilperson Pinter.
Aye.
Councilperson Passion.
Aye.
Councilperson Martin.
Aye.
Councilperson Cost.
Aye.
Council President Cameron.
Aye.
And Councilperson Grant.
Aye. All right, next is resolution 2025.
Nope, now we gotta
What?
pass it.
Sorry, gosh, you're so right. See, I just want to go on. I know. All right, next
We're gonna
is
get
I'd like to make a motion to pass.
Yes. And
Second.
read it though.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, an ordinance to transfer appropriations and make supplemental appropriations for the current expenses of the Village of Minerva Park for the year 2025.
Beautiful.
And you made your motion.
Yeah, you said that
Motion to
first.
pass.
Did someone second it?
Second.
So.
Any discussion?
Yeah, just real quick, just kind of catch me up here. I can figure out some of these as far as what has been going to the Minerva Lake Road project. I'm guessing the equipment replacement fund is the server, is that the
Yes.
$10,000?
Correct.
Yes.
And then what is the 44? That's capital outlay?
He sent an email
I don't
out.
see
It goes over.
right now. It doesn't say, but it's just the list. Unless it's in this Excel file. it's the same thing. So currently we have 15 in there, it's an increase of 44 coming up to 59. So we're proposing.
Yeah, so the appropriation requested for equipment replacement fund is for the new replacement server.
Right.
Our IT group has informed us that our backup server needs to be upgraded as we are fast exceeding its capacity.
I just want to make sure that the general fund, which is the first line item in there, the $44,000 is going towards the Mineral Lake Road project and not something else. Because streets, OWBC, sewer, water line, all that has to be road project.
Should be asking to clarify that that's not, yeah, the appropriation tonight is just for the,
Is it not for everything? This is,
sorry, be correct.
yeah, that's everything on this list.
Should we text him?
We can,
Do you want me to do that?
yeah,
Phone time real quick.
yeah, because I can't find the email. For some reason, none of mine is coming up.
It's,
I would hope so, it's not $47,000.
Can you please clarify on the subject of appropriations, where the $44,000 on the very first part of the exhibit is going? Question.
I understood this on the record, I understood the 44,000 was the server, but I could be wrong. I mean, I'm obviously not right, but.
Do you want me to call him?
It is,
Appropriation, do you know what the server is? How much it is, chief?
Do not know, I didn't even know we were getting one.
Can we just pause this for a minute?
We would-
Move on?
Yeah, we could take, move to table it
And then take it out?
and come back to it.
Motion to table.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that way we can get the
I
rest.
just want to know,
Yeah.
that's a good chunk of change in there. I want to make sure that it's for that project.
He said general fund for the sidewalks.
Okay.
Oh,
So that's what.
Oh, because they couldn't do the sidewalks out of the streets fund, they could only
That
do
is right.
sidewalks out of.
I do that, sorry.
Okay,
Cool, that's.
Thank you.
okay.
And that's your answer. Okay,
I'm good.
Where were we at in the process?
voting.
We're ready to vote.
Kathy seconded it, we discussed it, and now we're doing roll call. Okay, Councilperson Passion,
Aye.
Councilperson Martin,
Aye.
Councilperson Cost,
Aye.
Council President Camera,
Aye.
Councilperson Grant,
Aye.
and Councilperson Pinter.
Aye.
Can we move on to the next one now?
Sure.
All right. Resolution 2025-15 is a resolution authorizing the mayor and the fiscal officer to enter into a contract for the 2025 roadway improvement project and declaring it an emergency. This is the second reading of this with the intent to waive a third reading and pass as an emergency.
So you're making a motion to.
Motion to pass as an emergency.
No, motion to waive the reading.
Suspend the rules.
Oh, yes, thank you. Then we can, okay.
You'll get it.
Motion to waive the third reading?
Discussion.
Any discussion?
This is just to waive the readings at this point.
Yes. Any discussion? Councilperson Martin,
Aye.
Councilperson Cost,
Aye.
Council President Camera,
Aye.
Councilperson Grant,
Aye.
Councilperson Pinter,
Aye.
Councilperson Passion.
Aye.
All right, now that we voted to, do we need to,
You can just, you make a motion to pass resolution 2025-15 as an emergency.
okay, perfect. I make a motion to pass Resolution 2025-15 as an emergency.
Second.
All right, any discussion?
And does anyone want to address the comments? Or are you okay?
I'll be happy to address comments real quick if you'd like. So essentially, he's talking about the sidewalks, which were the pathway. We discussed that and been through the process with Linkus, and so it's not going to nowhere, obviously. It's going to start, our money that comes from Linkus is going to start it over at the Allen Creek, two parts of their outside jurisdiction, but it's going to start all the way over the pathway system. It's going to link up into Minerva Park, or across Minerva Lake Road, all the way to Cleveland. We're going to make improvements up north. We're going to hit again, outside of jurisdiction, but we're going to go across the street to the CMAX, that's how we got our money, so we And then we're going to attach up north to where Columbus is bringing their Lincoln project on the other side of 161. So that's the general plan. Has not been engineered yet. Yes, there will unfortunately be trees removed. We do have a lot of trees. Those trees are in our right of way, so there are trees. They are not the residents' trees. Obviously, the tree program can be discussed to bring more trees in. We like trees, but when we do these kind of projects to improve the health, welfare, and safety, sometimes construction projects allow for that. And again, all has to be engineered, has to go through some public comment, has to go through some more discussion. So that's where we're at.
So, my understanding was only 2 trees from the original needed to be removed. Do we know?
Oh, for this section?
Just the
Yeah,
section.
just section.
Absolutely. I was talking about
I get it.
I'm not aware that the plan had changed from when it was presented, when Mike was in here the last time. I am not aware of, and I think the last part to that is, any little section that we do, from Westerville Road that gets us to Farview, helps get these kids to school. So it's not a sidewalk to nowhere. I don't really understand that comment, because even if we never do another piece, you are getting to there. And if we do another piece that gets us to the pool, again, it's getting you to the pool.
Yes, the overall goal is to have Minerva Lake Road
Correct.
with sidewalks the entire
And
way.
to your point, I've been over there when kids are walking down that street.
Yeah.
The 2 trees, 2 residents,
Yeah,
right there in MLR, probably pretty going up the hill,
Right.
somewhere around there. And how does that get communicated to residents? I'm just curious.
I mean, I'm sure we can, before it happens, Mayor, to correct me if I'm wrong, generally.
We had a meeting in here with the residents. We invited the residents in here to go over the plan. Mike Flickinger was.
October 2024, yes.
Yeah, in 2024. So if they chose not to come, we don't knock on their doors, we don't do all of that. We invited them to come in. The plan, do we have the actual plans online
I
yet?
think those residents were present at the.
They might have been.
I believe they were.
Yeah.
And they understood that.
Yeah,
And I think
so
when it starts and stops, you'll still notice the residents via notification in the mail.
we've already done another postcard this week that does, at least lets people know. And they are more than welcome to reach out. We may not know the answer, Barb may not know the answer right off the top of her head, just like the maintenance garage. We know that there's a project going on, but we're not engineers. We do not know everything. So Barb and I will get the information the best that we can and as fast as we can.
We got the books, but since nothing has officially been executed yet, we're just getting everything signed. We haven't had it posted yet, it hasn't been approved yet, so it
Correct.
hasn't been posted.
Because you guys haven't approved it yet, essentially.
Yeah, okay. And then the sidewalk.
Yes.
I think the 5 foot was for an asphalt sidewalk. We decided to go with.
So the standard pathway that we want to see is 8 foot. However, we know full well, given a distance of pavement to right away, from right away into the yard, as far as how much we have to work with, it's a smaller amount here, so we don't have to do any right of way takes to get closer to the houses. So 5 foot was kind of settled on, and also we are gonna have up the road some more janky areas to work around. And 5 foot was kind of decided that was a good pathway size. And you want it bigger than 4. 4 gets a little tight for 2 people to walk. 5 is better.
I actually asked Mike about that because I also thought 4 was what we had over there. And Mike was pretty specific that is the new norm.
5 foot
That
is?
5 foot is, I did question that.
When we say 5 feet, is that curb to edge of sidewalk?
No, it's
Or is
5
that
foot is
the actual-
sidewalk width.
Is the actual sidewalk?
Yeah, block side, block side.
And that's what.
I thought about it, but 5 feet isn't that.
No, but not if you have a stroller.
No, yeah,
I've got 2 people.
it's not that big.
You don't
Just
want
to
single
clarify,
file.
Eric,
Yes.
that is
Oh,
what's in the
absolutely.
MI section, 5 feet?
4 feet.
I think it's 4 feet in most of those side
I think
roads.
this is 5 feet.
It's not, yeah, it's,
5 foot is about right to here on me, so that's roughly.
As far as retention walls, you mentioned that. So is that steep thinking retention walls?
I don't, in some parts, in some places that may be necessary, but again, it's gotta be, whatever the engineer
He's
decides.
engineered it. And I do remember them saying that there were gonna be a few challenges with driveways on the one side, but, that's what his job is to engineer that,
Right.
and so I'm sure it's there.
yes.
Thank you.
And I have absolutely no idea where we are.
We were in discussion,
Okay.
passing this as an emergency.
Okay.
And if there's no more discussion, then we're ready to take roll call.
And Jason seconded it.
I did.
Okay.
About the 5 feet thing, We can't make it 4 feet to match the rest of the
I
neighborhood?
would not recommend to make it 4 feet at this.
Mike didn't recommend it either.
When I was with Lincos, we really wanted to make it 6 feet, and it was, that's a pathway. And again, when the residents wanted down to concrete, that's when Mike chimed in, and we made it 5 feet from the standard standpoint. So-
Like, have you seen my stroller? Like,
Yes, I have.
yeah, that requires 5 feet.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because I mean, I don't know, I don't really have to say this, but it's like I've been through so many communities near Muirfield, in Westerville, and it's an 8-foot wide
Yeah.
asphalt pathway. And I think if it's good enough for Muirfield, I want to know why it's not good enough for Minerva Park and, multiple use paths, but I guess we're way past that. I'm frustrated with that.
Like a path would be better?
Yeah, it's in every premier community in this.
I agree with you, but the way that they do it is it's not, so they have sidewalks and then they have a path, and those two things are very different. I don't know of any community, Murfield included, where there's a path that goes in front of people's homes. And I think it's because of aesthetic reasons. I think paths usually go in the back, where the carts are, or a golf course situation, to connect things. I can't think of one neighborhood where they have those concrete paths going in front of
I've
people's
seen
homes.
asphalt paths, Stacy, I just saw one the other day.
So-
Went in front of a residence.
I mean, it doesn't matter, but I was
The only thing that I would be concerned of is that is going to be I can only assume that it is going to be the village's responsibility, because I don't know how you're
That's
gonna
correct.
fix, if we do an asphalt path, the village is gonna own it for the rest of their lives. You do a concrete, it's, like, how do you fix a little spot in front
All
of your
of it
house?
technically is our responsibility, except for what we've kind of put down we would apply the sidewalk code. that we
Correct,
got.
that's what I'm saying.
And that is correct. So you would, if you had asphalt path and you wanted to make the resident responsible for the section in front, then it's a different program.
Yeah,
You would be able to do it, it's just something different.
because I would assume that would be very difficult to get people to fix it.
No,
We would have to do
You
it.
would do
Yes.
it and assess the properties
Yes.
as per our policy.
I mean, yeah, ultimately it's a compromise, and that's what
Correct.
happens, and that's okay. I don't know. I had seen so many pathways after, and I was like, they have them here too, and I'm just like, wait a minute.
And the residents that were here for that meeting were very adamant that they did
Yes,
not
I
want
remember.
the black
I remember.
pathway.
Correct. Okay.
Okay.
So,
All right, Councilperson Cost.
I,
Council President Cameron. Councilperson Green.
Aye.
Councilperson Pinter.
Aye.
Councilperson Passion.
Aye.
Councilperson Martin. Does anybody else feel like these are getting later and later?
And the resolution passes.
There we go.
Okay.
So that was for the whole resolution, all right.
Yes.
All right.
All right, the next one is Resolution 2025-16, which is a resolution to adopt the tax budget for the Village of Minerva Park, Ohio, for the year beginning January 1st, 2026, and to submit the same to Franklin County Budget Commission and to declare an emergency. This is the second reading. All right, the next is Resolution 2025-17, which is a resolution to amend and revise the Minerva Park fee schedule and to declare an emergency. I think we had discussion on this today, but also, this is the first reading.
Perfect. All right.
And is that, okay, perfect.
That's all we have on this. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Do we have any old business?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me find it.
I didn't know if there was other things that people wanted before we go through the list.
Eric, were you gonna go over, family real quick?
I can. Yes, so two things. We've had several different calls with families as they go through the final stages, getting ready to open. And they told us they didn't think they were going to open for a few more days, but then this is the day they're going to plan on being open by tomorrow at noon is their goal. So that is what they got to pass one more fire inspection, so they'll be loading all of the ordnance into the facility today at some point. I don't know if it's overnight or how they do that. We have Chief and I were on the phone with them this afternoon. There'll be an officer there as soon as tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So let's see if they get open enough. I will give you an update that there's a little tiff brewing between us and the city of Columbus. The city of Columbus wanted to require Phantom to tear up Jordan Road and reinstall the domestic water line. I was not a fan of this because of several things. So one main reason is once we tear a road up, there's damage to it, repair is never the same as it was before. Common sense wise also, there's no reason. What the issue was is that the GFS used to had like a 6-inch line that ran from the lateral on Jordan Road, all within our jurisdiction, okay? And it runs underneath Jordan, and then it splits between the old fire service line and a 2-inch domestic line, so they have domestic water. That's all still functioning. What Columbus did is said, oh, we want you to rip all that up and re-tap the line and just put a 2-inch line in. And we're like, that's utterly ridiculous. Why would you do that? And so Jesse and I reviewed the water
What
agreement.
was the justification on why they felt that was necessary?
They haven't felt the need to give us that.
Yes, we kind of told to jump in our lake a little bit, which makes me unhappy. So I
Is
took
that
it
for
up.
safety reasons?
No, it's because, as I said to the one woman on the phone, perhaps not I said, hey, SimCity, this is not, we all went to planning school, but you can't just magically pull things up and put things back down. It doesn't work that way. This makes no sense. I said, it's our road, it's our water line technically, according to the agreement. I said, we want this handled in a common sense way. If they simply cap it off south of Jordan Road, they don't impact people in Jordan, because they're going to the road's going to shut down in parts to get this done. It'll be utterly ridiculous. Phantom was talking to me about, well, we really don't want to do this while we're got all this traffic that will really screw things up. Like, they were concerned. I'm like, you're not doing it. I said, we'll handle this with Phantom and with the city of Columbus, and we'll get this to handle it properly, because we haven't, they've been kind of ignoring us on the upper level. So we're going to get that handled and see if we can handle this in common sense. The right way to do this would be to cap it off, and when we eventually do Jordan Road, we can make that all happen the way it's supposed to. That the road torn up and putting on a brand new road. Who knows what it'll be a few years down the road, whenever it's on the schedule, right? But there's just absolutely no need to do it the way Columbus has told them they need to do it.
So who would be responsible for the cost of this? If
Well, right now-
that Columbus suggested.
Well, if they tear it, we're not responsible for it, except for the fact it impacts our road lifespan, okay? So Phantom would foot the bill to rip the road up, put in a new line, tear out the old line, and then, handle all of that. That would all be on their responsibility. So, and that's all well and good, except for the fact that it impacts the road in a negative manner, and it impacts the residents in a negative manner.
Where does international marketing stuff tap into the water? They tap into.
Gaston's right there too. This is that it goes to the line goes to the north. So the line that everyone taps into is on the north side of Jordan. So that's
I
where.
guess I don't understand what is the thought process behind requiring that? Like,
I don't know. We were asking for clarification.
Yeah,
we don't agree with it.
I said, I looked at the agreement, they do have, Columbus has, they carry quite a bit of authority in the agreement, as makes sense, but I said, unless somebody can explain to us that this is like a safety concern, we're not doing it.
So what is the construction that is happening on Cleveland Avenue right there with the box?
That bigger one, that deals with their very high-end Cadillac style suppression system. So they had to tap into the very big line in order to get the pressure necessary. And it's regulated by that mechanical box. That's dedicated for the fire suppression system. Right there.
So, okay, yeah, I'm not the smartest guy in the room for sure, but so why can't there be something else done right there?
Well, the reason being is that that's, again, a different pressure line. The domestic line already exists off the Jordan. Don't disagree with your statement either. It's just that all was done and approved. They followed what they were supposed to on that side. The domestic line already exists. It's just that it's just the way they want to handle it is not appropriate.
We're all on the same page.
Right. So we'll work through that. I'm just making you aware that we stopped them from, well, and rightfully so, they told me about it because they asked for a right-of-way permit. I'm like, why do you want this? And then we started getting into why. And I was like, that's not acceptable. I said, we're not going to allow that.
If it needs to be done, is it something that we could have them do it? Obviously not during the 4th of July week.
We're not doing it. They don't want to do it now, right? I said, you don't have to do it now. You're not doing it.
I mean, that wouldn't make sense to close our road right now.
their ability to operate because of what is the point of this water line too?
It's just Columbus being Columbus. I have no better way to explain this.
Flexing.
Yeah, flex. Oh, thank you. That's very good.
Yeah.
They like to flex.
Well, it seems like it's integral to the operation of Phantom Fireworks.
They have all this.
It's a domestic water line so that you can flush toilets and have a water fountain, right?
Okay.
That's the purpose of it, just like GFS. It's the same line GFS used.
Yeah.
Will it affect their ability to get their operational license? from
They've
the-
already got occupancy permit, because they've already got running water. That's not-
So they can probably put out a hazard but not flush a toilet.
Yes.
I know.
The construction you see now is getting them the pressure they need through the main line.
Okay.
The line that runs under Jordan gets them their non, yeah.
Is that normal
Like
to
water.
have the lines separated?
It's just not normal, that's the reason.
Not,
It's
yeah.
very, this is a very specialized system,
Yeah.
right? And it requires a certain pressure and certain engineering, and that's why it's coming from the Cleveland line, because it's a much bigger water line, right? The Jordan line obviously can't support what that system needs, which is why they moved them to with its own regulation mechanical system from Cleveland. So that's nice.
Okay, so, go ahead, I'll let you finish, and then I have one question.
Yes, no problem. So I just wanted to wrap that up, so we'll make sure that gets situated, we'll give you updates if necessary, especially if we end up losing the argument, Columbus, sticks their heels in and makes them do it. We
We
won't be.
require there's an officer there to direct traffic. I'm so sick of the traffic already, it's terrible.
So the
It's
officer
confusing.
is, yes, the officer will start there tomorrow,
No,
they'll
no,
let
no,
him in.
they do the construction on, like, are they gonna close our whole road? That seems to be.
Well-
We're not there yet.
Yeah.
We're not there.
We'll let you know before they do it, but yeah, they'll have to.
There will be a direction of traffic. It'll have
Do
to
you
go
have a
through the-
plan?
What?
If that happens, do you have a backup plan right now?
There's no backup plan, we have to do
Okay.
what Columbus.
We have to give them a permit for them to be able to come in and start that.
Correct, that's
Okay.
absolutely correct.
So they can't just come do it tomorrow.
No,
That's not what I'm saying, is if this has to happen, can you just make sure that traffic is regulated to the best of our ability?
Yes.
And more so, like,
Yes.
I want the bougie treatment of like, hey, put an officer there, instead of like, oh yeah, we'll close the road and good luck, like turning left.
No, it'll be one of our offline officers probably, and
We already have
we'll
an
bougie
officer
you
on
up.
Jordan. That was one of our requirements.
Well, no, she's saying for this construction project,
Not for the fireworks, for the road project.
we'll.
If they force us to chew up the road, can we get an officer there to direct traffic so that we can get in and out?
There's, if they closed that right now, we would have to go through GFS, or we would have, or not GFS, we would have to go through Phantom, or we would have to go through
You
Yasmin.
could do it.
Unless there's a halfway.
It'll be a half a road.
We'll have a whole.
But I'm saying, you wouldn't be able to pull,
No one's
That's why we're not doing
doing
it.
no one's doing it right now.
no, exactly, that's all I care about is.
We're not doing it.
No, it's
What I'm
2 weeks
saying
from
is, no, what I'm saying is, I wanna make it as convenient as possible for me, because I am so sick of this inconvenience for them. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, make it better for me for once. So I would like for you to do that. If
You're saying if in like 3 weeks they do?
Yeah, if they tear
Okay,
it down.
you're not talking about,
No.
never mind,
Right,
I'm
you're not
following. There's an officer already gonna be there this week, you're
Forget
talking
this,
about 3 weeks from
forget
now.
this.
Yes, I agree,
Hypothetically, if they tear up the road,
I agree.
I would like Eric to say, well, what if we put an officer there too?
I see what she's
I
saying.
just need you to suggest
Sorry,
more
guys.
stuff. I want more
Wasn't
stuff.
there.
I don't want bare minimum. I want an officer. I want to be convenienced at some point when I'm in.
And we'll make sure we have a
I want
motorcycle
to
escort
be
for you
trade.
that comes to your house. Yeah, we'll take good care.
Yes, please.
That'd be awesome.
Okay, so here's the follow-up question with that.
An appropriation for a motorcycle?
Go ahead.
Do we have anybody with a motorcycle license yet? We're gonna send,
Can we, do you want a purple one?
Only
Well,
if
this
Timber gets a
correction seems to be
sidecar.
done a lot.
Oh, it's all done.
It's already,
Everything is done.
I've been at it, that's a lot.
They already have their occupancy, they have to load things in, they have to pass an inspection with the fire marshal after they have everything in the store. That's the next.
And then that'll all be covered up, it'll be
House
dirt.
coverage.
Can
They
they,
have to do it,
do
yes.
they have to clean up whatever is happening with the lane closure before they open?
that's where I was going with
Because
this.
that is,
What
that
are
to
we
me
talking
is-
about now?
So-
There's a lane closure on the west side of
Right.
Cleveland Avenue, it's
Right.
causing crazy havoc.
It's actually, he just got stuck in it too. So where it's down to 1 lane on Cleveland Avenue, it's been that way for 3 weeks. No, okay, so because Columbus, where they're working on the line, Columbus has 1 lane closed. It is backed up past
No,
161.
that should all be, once it's all finished, I mean, once it's done, I mean, it works, that's open back up as far as I understand.
So that's not as of now.
As of today, at 5 p.m.
So that's part of the construction now? I didn't even
No,
know.
it sounds like it is, but I'm not, that's
Okay.
not I'm just
Yeah.
a city of Columbus folks.
Okay, here's
Yeah.
the deal. Can you please, on your way home, drive through that to assess it? And
I drove by
then,
today, and I didn't have any, I.
open your eyes, oh my God, it's
Oh, it's
terrible.
bad.
I didn't have traffic,
So
I drove by today.
it's south, it's running south
Right.
on the right hand, okay, so.
It's on the Columbus side.
And there's construction that's happening from basically Jordan Road.
Okay.
And they close it off all the way to the
Okay,
west.
they must have had it open when I drove over, I had no.
Are you talking about at 6 o'clock?
I.
when you came in? at
No,
six?
I was, this afternoon when I was going around the village today, I was.
No, it's
not
You can't
So it's
turn.
one lane. Okay, hold on, ready? Ivywood, right?
Yes.
One lane.
Yes, okay,
Okay. So the Columbus side, there's only one of 2 lanes open.
okay,
All the way from 161
right.
to,
Huh.
not
Almost to
Wildwood, is
Wildwood.
that- No,
It's
Wildwood,
Teakwood.
no, Teakwood.
Teakwood.
It's
Yeah.
All of that is one lane.
Okay.
If you turn left, first of all, but like you're blocking traffic, if I'm turning left,
You can't turn left, get real.
Okay.
I turn left, but I blocked everybody everywhere.
So-
Okay, yeah, that's the only way you can do it.
Regardless, I'll try to find out for you, I don't know the answer to that because I didn't.
It is Columbus.
Yeah, I didn't have any problems in the
But
Columbus.
my concern is if they don't open that lane of traffic up before they open tomorrow, that would be double traffic.
We don't have any, I will just say for the record, we don't have any control of that, no control. We can only ask. Now, they do have to have officers at the intersection, and the Columbus officers you will see at Teakwood and the Phantom and Cleveland. They'll be handling traffic in and out of that site. So hopefully those guys will also make things better. But that's what they're doing.
Is there, just because I don't know,
Right.
I've been out of town, any update on that light there? Is that like?
That light will get completed, it was gonna be completed after the 4th, that's why the officers are being required, so that they can handle traffic properly.
Barb?
Yes, Barb.
I talked to emailed with 2 different people at the City of Columbus today, Engineering Division, who know absolutely nothing about any of this.
Yeah.
Surprising.
They asked for an address, and I was afraid to give them 5400 Cleveland Avenue, because then they would say, well, that's in River Park, we have nothing to do with that.
Right.
So I gave them an address of that apartment at Teakwood, right across the street. He said, well, there's some project going on at Teakwood, and he sent me some plans for Teakwood Road. They don't have the first clue,
Mm-mm.
just so you
That
know.
doesn't surprise us.
Yeah, fine, the single engineer out of the
Right.
150 that work there that are working on it.
Right,
Yeah.
it's very compartmentalized.
So I think that's our biggest fear. There, I don't want to be the Facebook police, but that was actually posted about 3 weeks ago, that they actually wanted an officer out there 3 weeks ago, because it's back to 161.
Right,
It's,
I believe it. So, they may be having something going on, I don't know.
Okay.
We'll try.
yes,
Chief, please help us, please.
Your water line project crosses Cleveland Avenue.
yes.
They had to close down one lane of Cleveland Avenue southbound in order for them to dig down and put the tap in to come across Cleveland Avenue to go to Phantom Fireworks.
Remember, it's not Eric's project.
So that's what's going on.
Don't put my name in that.
I know, but that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
That's the water project that you just discussed. They just passed inspection today.
So hopefully they clean it.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything should be filled. They can put the plates over there so they have time to come and pave it.
Right on.
And it should open up the lanes of traffic by tomorrow.
If not, we're gonna
But
go,
my fear is
let's
that.
go throw the orange pylons out.
And the other thing too is there a way for them to move that crane? Because I can't see turning left because there's a crane in the way too.
I would assume that's gonna be on too. Hopefully,
I would like to, that helps me see so I don't die.
Yeah, the motorcycle escort will help you with all things. That's what it's out there.
I would like it sooner than this
I know, yeah.
hypothetical
Okay.
motorcycle escort.
Do we have anything to talk about with these pool maintenance building road projects, lakes? I've got 4 things on here, I don't know what before.
So this was an ask that we just had a touch on them during our council work session, so.
Okay.
I think pool, I know Jeff has written an RFP. I
Yes.
don't know if it's gone out yet.
no, Monday.
My concern is that council has no idea what's going on. Do you guys feel like you're informed on what's happening?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Nicole?
And I don't know if the residents know what our plan is. And it's a big project overall, and I'm thinking we need to have some open discussions with the community to get their input. So I don't want to stop this project, I really want it to move forward, but I think it's a lot of individuals' opinions on things, and we need to all get on the same page. So I don't know what that looks like.
This all boils down to the grant that we are potentially getting, and it can only be for the bathhouse. And that is essentially all this RFP is for, is to get an architect to help us with the designing of that building.
And I will say, a comment, I'm not gonna throw anyone under the bus who made this comment, but, there was a comment made, I think we're gonna put exterior bathrooms in it so we can put in a pickleball court. And I don't know where that came from,
Yeah.
and, I mean, I know who said it, I don't know where that thought came from. We have exterior bathrooms on that building that we've covered up, believe it or not. And, you know, again, I think 81 parking spots might be bad for us going forward, and what we've planned might need some tweaks. And I just think we need to have a discussion about it a little more, and really kind of get the community involved. I mean, we are talking a few $1 million in this whole project, so. That's my update on the pool.
So do you want to move forward with putting the RFP out, or do you, because I feel like I guess I feel like we've talked about the pool for 2 years.
There have been discussions on the pool, but a lot of it happened in the subcommittee.
Correct.
And didn't really move into council as a whole.
Correct.
So, I think at minimum, we have a discussion about it as a council at the next.
I don't disagree.
And
Can
so
you put it on there?
maybe we wait to send the RFP out till after that,
Works for me.
but review that RFP at the
Do
meeting.
you know if the RFP will change anything? Because I feel like the RFP is just to get an architect. I don't, the only thing that's gonna be in there is about approximate square footage, which I think that might be the only thing that could potentially change. So look at the RFP, message me and let me know if you want to put it out Monday or if you want to wait, because our next meeting is not until July 10th. And I think that there is a time limit that we have to spend this money for the building, and we don't have 6 months to talk about getting an architect, and then, so I don't wanna step on anybody's toes, because I don't wanna do something that people aren't comfortable with. So I think there's a fine line between, do we get it put out so we can start that process, or do we wait until after July 10th?
Okay.
I mean, that doesn't seem like that much longer, but it's another 2 weeks.
Okay. That was it for that.
Okay.
Maintenance building, any updates on the maintenance building? Sorry.
No.
I'm hijacking.
I don't know what I've given updates for. It's gonna start at some point in time. We don't have the permits yet. We don't have permits yet.
No more lane clearing at this point?
Nope.
Okay. So nothing happened since the last time?
I sent you guys an email. I had a meeting with them.
Yes.
That's the last anything I've had, and no, so nothing's happened since then, and we still do not have approved permits.
And then,
I think he said the first week of July. He was hoping around the 4th of July that we would have an update to the permits. Yes,
road projects, do we need to discuss that one anymore?
I think we've talked about that until we're purple.
Lakes, anything that we want to talk about?
We can't afford it.
We're waiting to hear what happens with them this year. apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Any other
You like my
old
answer?
business?
Can't afford it.
Any other old business? Okay. You can take it over again.
Is that my turn? Okay. Desire to discuss code 40, new business is desire to discuss code 432.38, shortcutting across private property. I think this might have to do with cutting through Phantom Fireworks parking lot, I'm not sure,
Yes,
okay.
that is correct.
What do we want to discuss with this?
It's in new business, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm taking a guess here, a shot in the dark, I don't know who put this on the agenda, but there have been some conversations that our law enforcement might, feel like they cannot, like we have something that says they can't cut through, on the books.
Yeah, so 432.38, shortcutting across private property, says no operator of a motor vehicle shall enter upon private property for the sole purpose of driving across that property between abutting streets or other public ways thereof. Failure to stop on the property in connection with or furtherance of the enterprise of activities being conducted. Basically, people think that this means you can't cut through Phantom Fireworks to get to a traffic light if there was one there. So,
I mean, I think it does mean that.
yeah.
I mean, that's what it says. If you drive across the property owned by Phantom and don't stop to use Phantom Fireworks, you can't do that.
They wrote
it,
they wrote that?
That's what it says.
No, we've had it, no,
Yeah, it's been in there
forever.
Yeah, it's been in the code.
So would this be, so,
Well, first off, maybe this is a cheap conversation, is that something we just could potentially not enforce right now? Is that, and I know there's a debate between, yes, let's let Chief talk.
So, the whole point of that law is to prevent people from going around like a traffic light at a gas station. You have a corner gas station as it's just both sides, and they just cut straight across the parking lot to avoid the traffic control device. So when they were cutting through GFS and then going to the light, they weren't avoiding the traffic control device, they were actually going to a place that was safe for the turn left. Because they would just sit there waiting for the lights to turn red, and the car stopped, they would make their left turn. You want to enforce something that makes people safer was not on.
Well,
I think the one
here's my, first of all, I completely agree that that is what the intent was. That isn't what it says.
Yeah.
What it says is you can't cut across private property for any reason. So I don't disagree with the chief at all. It's in fact, we're not avoiding lights, we're trying to use a light. But you're still cutting across fans to cut between public way.
Justice.
Yes.
Yeah, we can adjust it. Just
So
make
we
it nice
want,
and quick.
so is that something that you could get us legislation for the next particular time? And is it something that we could just not enforce right now without saying that?
Well, the chief has a certain interpretation that doesn't enforce it, so I would
Exactly.
say go with that.
And I don't know that,
We're just, you know, we have discretion and that rule made 0 sense, so we just were not.
And here's what, one, they don't have to enforce it, like anything. Two, the only way this becomes an issue is if a private property owner calls and says, people are shortcutting through my property.
right,
And I would venture to guess, I don't know, but whoever might be operating that might not want to stir anything up at the moment. So they might not bring it up. So yeah, we can amend it, we can strike it. I mean, one way to do it would be to let them start, let them operate here, and in a month when we have our meeting to discuss it, say, are you willing to allow our residents to shortcut your neighborhood? We've just got like a shared use agreement,
Right.
some type of thing where they're just, come along the back and go out to the light. And, maybe not from June 20th to July 5th.
That'd be hard, that's gonna be a little conflicting, I agree, but the rest of the year, it's gonna be quiet on the GFS, I think it'd be fine.
Yeah. So I don't think anybody needs to be concerned about chief sitting out there writing tickets if you do it. Certainly not, and we can amend it, absolutely. And then I do think, I would advise trying to get Phantom on the phone and saying, hey, let's work out something here for residents when it's not peak season.
Right.
Yep.
I think that'd be an easy conversation personally, so, okay.
yeah, it's definitely safer, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, desire to discuss the lakes.
That's one thing. So it also applies if you cut through the avenue.
Correct.
And you just come home from the stores and go out to turn right.
Right.
And then let's, look at other places if, the corner, 2999 building, if you went through that lot to go around, I don't know, the stop sign or something, so you didn't want to come up to, whatever you guys are gonna name that road now. And Ponderosa, instead of going up to that to try to each out and turn left, you just cut through the lot and go out behind the building and turn left on Ponderosa. And it's the same thing, so it's not just
Correct.
this situation, there's many places in the village where this has an effect, so it's something to consider if you guys want to.
What if we how bad would it be if we just got rid of it?
Or if you just put in the wording that says you have to avoid a traffic control device.
Can we just do that?
I think there could be situations where the private property may call to have it enforced. And we would want to be able to enforce it because there are problems.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. So we wanted to, chiefs, is basically, you're not gonna get a ticket for driving yourself into something that is more safe. It is to stop you from skipping the red light. And so I'll write something up for the next meeting.
Also, people who are exiting Jordan or through Yasmin, shouldn't we have a right turn only? That way they're not cutting across traffic? Doesn't that seem safer?
When you say exiting, we're.
Jordan heading to go, like, you can only go right turn, or exiting that Yasmin market, you can only go right on Cleveland Avenue?
Well, we have to.
I think it's mostly when you're coming home.
Right.
Oh.
In that situation, just not to make this go over, but we have control of the right of way, we can change that configuration if it was ever necessary to do so, right? So we control it. So, okay.
Okay. Is there still a desire to discuss the lakes project as storm sewer retention rather than a lake?
I just wanted this brought up because we've been waiting a long time to dredge these lakes. We've been waiting a really long time.
Yeah.
And now we're being told, and I know I've heard this before, but it was much more final in the last meeting. We're never going to get money to dredge the lakes.
Right.
It is my understanding that what has been quoted is to simply dredge these two lakes is $4 million.
Right?
We're never gonna have $4 million.
Well, I would say that's not necessarily true. What I would say is that we won't get it all at once. So what I would say is that the way that we're leveraging it with different grants and applications is that we're calling it a lake ecosystem restoration project. The dredging is but one piece of that puzzle. It's a bigger piece, but there's a lot more that goes with it. And it sells nicely with all the ODNR and all the Fed dollars that, or the descriptions of what they will get money for. So that's what I'm calling it when I make an application. I definitely don't want to call it a dredging project officially, an official thing. And
That's
I prefer
not-
just to leave
Here,
it.
but that's
That's not what we heard.
from life.
What did we hear?
What we heard in the last meeting was, they're not lakes. They're storm retention
Well,
ponds.
I can't.
And because of that, we're not
He's
gonna get the
saying
money you're
technically-
talking about.
He's saying technically what they work as, he's right. So when, for example, when I wrote, and we got the money rescinded like everyone else did this last time, but what they awarded us money for was exactly that description. This is part of a larger watershed that collects water from over there. It does retain it. It keeps it from going downstream, which, by the way, is important because if we let all the water rush downstream, it also trashes people's properties and health and welfare. There's a whole litany of stuff that goes with what Mike said. Mike is an engineer, and so his description is hardcore. It is what it is, right? That's just the way the main is, and that's the way they're wired. I'm a little different because I'm writing for a grant. I'm going to call it something a little bit more creative, okay? In all honesty, and that gets you your money, okay? He can call it whatever he wants. I would prefer, because he's an engineer, he's using a technical term, the way I'm going to couch that, right? I'm going to say what it is on the larger scale when I write these up. I don't think you need to call it anything officially, is what I'm going to tell you.
Okay, so if that's the case, and we'll assume that it is, it's gonna take a while to get all that money
It is
together.
going to take several different, we had it and we got it pulled away like everyone else, and then hopefully we'll get more this for 26, and then we're going to reapply and get something additional for 27, and we'll get something additional for 28, and there's several different pathways to go. So yes, we're cobbling together what we can. where we
So
can.
hopefully, before I die, we will actually have this done.
I hope so.
That doesn't make me feel good. And so, have we ever looked at this as ever just a retention pond, and what can be done?
So I'm gonna stop you right there because I just emailed Ben about that exact thing. And I said,
Great minds do think alike.
well, except his answer was, you're not gonna like my answer.
Okay.
Because even though it's a storm sewer retention, you will not get an ODNR grant or similar for maintenance of it. And because dredging is maintenance, I have the email that I'll forward to you, but I reached back out. So I'll forward what Ben said, and then just kind of go from there. But we can get grants for the project, but not the actual dredging.
So Kathy, I feel like to summarize all this is we have known for a very long time, we can't afford to do it, and we keep trying to, and it just keeps.
And I'm just saying,
Yeah.
has anyone ever asked anyone like Aqueduct
Yeah.
what could be done? Is there
Yeah.
something that could be done
Yeah.
phased?
Yeah.
Is there anything like that? And
Yes.
if we've done that, tell me and I'll
Yes.
stop talking.
No,
Yes, we-
I don't know that we have.
I think we
Other
have.
options.
I'm
I mean-
pretty sure I have looked up the history.
I don't know.
I think I've looked up the history to be like, okay, let me just sit through this and get myself up to speed. And you know how meticulous I get.
Uh-huh.
I can't recall specifics, but it seems to me, based on what I've asked past council members, all the things that I've listened to, I am pretty sure that we have tried and exhausted a lot of our options. So it's not like nobody's tried before. It seems that we keep running into dead ends. And it seemed like we found our holy grail answer, which was, okay, we have TIF money to be able to do it. And then the price tag we thought was about $1 million and it turned into $5 million. When we actually looked at it, based on the amount of years of neglect or whatever you want to call it, because we couldn't afford it then, and we just didn't have the tax money, and, you know, things were flooding and whatever. And now we finally have the opportunity and the time and possible money to be able to do this, and it seems to be even more extensive than it was before. And the price keeps going higher.
And it's gonna keep happening, you
Correct.
guys, it's just gonna keep happening.
But the thing is, and again, I honestly, I don't even know, but I'm at a budget, I don't even know where we could get that money.
Oh, right, right.
So that's what we're exploring.
But I don't think
That'll be
there's,
a continuous exploration.
right, so it's basically slowly filling in on its own, and it's not very deep. Because I've listened
And
to everything
isn't
that
that
Mike
also a
said.
problem as the
Yes.
storm?
Correct. And at some point, it's just gonna fill in itself.
You
But
either
I don't
have
know,
to keep hunting, or we manage it as a volume.
but the thing, yeah, it's a volume.
What are your
The
choices?
problem is it's not even the cost of getting it out. The majority of the cost is getting the equipment in there and then pulling the
And then
stuff
the-
out.
Yeah, I
And
know,
putting it somewhere, because it's
Yeah.
not free. Where are we gonna dump it?
right,
And it's gonna cost money because it has to dry out before you dump it.
That's
Yeah.
the condition required.
So it's not that easy, because I don't know what is Aqueduct gonna do, like take a swim, like, you know what I mean?
but that's my point,
Are there other options?
how do you eat an elephant? You know, and why can't we eat this as an elephant? Because I am so sick and tired.
I mean, the
Of
other option is
watching
everybody
lakes
gets,
die.
right, but otherwise we get in there and we all take a shovel and we take a little piece. Like, what else are we gonna do? It's a village project and everybody gets waiters on.
I think that's what we discussed a little bit.
Which
at
was
the
also
last work
discussed, by the
session,
way.
Is that we just have to chip away at this a little piece at a time. So that's why we're still looking at the trees and, you know, that's all part of that $4 million. If we can start chipping away at it.
So
Yeah.
And
that
then I
one,
think,
yeah. so
If
other
this has
stuff isn't
been
going-
asked and
Yes.
answered, then I'm
I-
done.
No, I think it's
Don't
worth,
feel like,
it's worth asking,
It
because
is
I think
worth
we
asking.
bring it up, but I think there's been a lot of talk, and there has been very little chipping away, and now we're starting to actually chip away a
Yeah,
little bit.
which is wonderful.
we're chipping, it's just very,
It's-
so now we're just making sure less stuff falls in.
And
Yes,
I
yes.
think from construction costs, like you have to, it's so big with like the whole COVID construction projects
Oh my
that people
gosh,
got money for.
Yeah.
It's like, there was inflation, but construction inflation was way worse.
Wild, yeah.
And it's, I mean,
Yeah.
it's out of our control, and maybe if there's a recession, things will get cheaper or get expensive less fast. I don't know. It's just, you can't control that, so,
Yeah, okay, thank you.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, No,
So I think that's it for new business and
I do want, I'm gonna bring up one new piece of business, just something to think about that I've crossed my mind. So thinking about the traffic issues over at Jordan and Yasmin and all that, is there something that we could potentially do to incentivize Yasmin to purchase those two properties to the north of them, so that they can have an exit out onto Northland Plaza Drive?
You're saying north of them, you're saying 5454.
Yes.
yeah,
Owned by Ernest, and Ernest is in the middle of his own project, so I'm not seeing that one happening. And then the Rainey Plumber sold to a new owner to the north of him, and they are exploring their options as to what they can do on that property from a redevelopment standpoint. So, I hear what you're saying. I think probably that's going to be, we tried hard when Phantom was coming in to get Columbus to, again, play ball with some new traffic stuff, and they weren't so playing ball at that time. We're going to have to look at that a little more wholesale as this goes forward, because you're right, we need to find a solution as to what we need to, and yes, at the same time, but a little limited, but there are possibilities again.
Just something else to think about, just wanted to.
And then once you go into executive session, I have a solution to your ice cream desires for everyone to sample that I picked up today. So sample that while you're in executive session. And then if you like them, email me and I'll give you all the details on how I can be able to. So,
All right, so next then, we need to make a motion to enter into executive session.
Motion to enter into executive session.
Well, that's what I'm kind of saying.
Oh, you're doing it? Okay, cool.
So, and just so it's clear, this is under Ohio Revised Code 121-22G1 to consider the employment or discipline of a public official This does require a second and then a roll call, and then we can invite who we want to attend the executive session.
Second.
And then a roll call.
Councilperson Pinter.
Here.
Aye. Put you on the spot. Councilperson Passion.
Aye.
Councilperson Martin.
Yeah.
Councilperson Cost.
Aye.
Council President Cameron.
Aye.
And Councilperson Grant.
Aye.
And then as far as who's being invited in, right now my thoughts are council and our legal, to start off with. Okay, does everyone agree? Okay. All right. So
We turn off the quarter?
Adjourn to executive session, and then we'll come back in after that and close the meeting.
Okay.
All right, so village council, it is now 9:52. We just got out of executive session, and I think we're calling it a wrap for the night. So I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
And all in favor?
Aye.
All right, have a good night.